He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the podcast where we hurtle towards certain doom that is talking about every minute of Batman Forever, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And here to smash my way through every piece of these minutes, it is your other host, John Parker. Hello.
Hey, that was surprisingly violent, but...
Well, there's a lot of smashing going on in this minute.
Yeah, I suppose it is just carnage this week. Like, this is just full-on crazy crap happening. But, to talk about said crazy crap, we have two guests from different sides of the world and everything going on here. We have returning guests from last season, the Dog Hair Network's very own Rory Spence.
Hello.
Hey. And from we have a newbie as well joining him. We have all the way from Chronologically Speaking, still one of the best Movies by Minutes podcast names out there, I think. We have Duncan Shields.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to talking about these minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot to take in.
yeah, for sure. It's chaos. Everything's going off the rails in these minutes.
That's the thing. It's one of those where I found it hard to know what to write down for note purposes, but I have a lot to say about what I'm seeing regardless, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everything with Batman Forever, though, is like there's tons to talk about in even the most sullen of minutes. But this is just like, oh, what is going on now? And particularly, it's stuff coming over from last week. There was confusion last week about why does he have these things over his eyes? I think I've got an answer for that now. I think that it's clarified in different ways, in different scripts, and in the novelization of why he has... Oh my god, we'll get into it. But anyway, this is minute 112. Minute 112 begins with Sugar and Spice exiting stage right and left, because they're going out different sides. And it ends 1 minute later with the race to rescue a Robin.
Oh, I like the way you went classy, whereas mine, if I was introducing, is Batman dives for dick.
Hey-o!
I like that you had that prepared just in case, John.
I always prepare them just in case.
That's just like, in case I have a minute where Bruce and Dick are together, I have that one just in my back pockets.
Oh yeah, you have to.
God only knows when you're going to need it. But yeah, so... much like Joel Schumacher never learned anything from Star Wars, where like, you have to get this one little tiny thing into this one little hole to blow up the Death Star. Apparently you just throw one thing at the box, and the whole building comes down.
And that's it. Yeah, the whole thing explodes.
Basically throwing a batarang at a greenhouse that was dangling above the friggin' room has somehow destroyed the entirety of the island. Because everything's going up now.
Having watched these minutes out of context, I see that I know that they're on an island. The Riddler's on is like Riddler Island or something like that, and he set it up to. Now is he sucking all the knowledge out of Gotham? Is that what he's doing?
That's the pitch. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Allegedly, I mean, we don't see him really getting smarter or using the information to his advantage much. I mean, he's supposed to be getting rich off it somehow.
Okay.
Well, he's getting rich because he's selling the devices, and then he's getting like knowledge rich.
Yeah, but he's like stealing credit card numbers and things, which me and Niall both thought. What's the point in that when you're already this amazing technology magnate? You know?
What's he buying with the credit card numbers too? It's just like people looking at their credit card bills is like $1,000 on what? Like half a wing of a giant box device? Who the hell bought this?
Unless his plan is basically the plan from Office Space, where they steal like a cent. You know, he's stealing a cent from everyone's bank.
Oh, Superman 3.
Yeah. Superman 3. Yeah, half a cent.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Pryor rolling in his grave now thinking Office Space has stolen his scheme.
It's a good plan. It seems like a really good plan.
It genuinely is. I think you could get away with it.
Good. Oh, we know there are people getting away with it every day. So.
Yeah, they're called banks.
Hey-o. Hey-o. I was surprised to see Drew Barrymore and Debbie Mazar in this film playing such tiny roles. I mean, they're both just like paying the bills here because they're both, at the time anyway. Drew Barrymore went on to even bigger things afterwards, but Debbie Mazar was kind of celebrated at the time. She was sort of an up-and-comer. So they were kind of just... Well, she was the girlfriend of Mike Myers in Wayne's World. Mm-hmm. Right? So,
really?
She was the one at the beginning where they're all sitting... Oh, no, sorry. So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, okay.
Where they're sitting around at the end. What would be the worst thing that could happen to you? Eating a bran muffin and 3 coffees and then getting caught in traffic at noon. Oh, hello.
Oh.
And then she's like getting electrocuted. And the whole table's like, yeah, okay. I don't think you really understand what we're doing here. But like, so she had like these little roles. Yeah, she wasn't huge, but she was not as big as Drew Barrymore, but she was up and coming, I thought. So
he said Wayne's World, though. I thought you were talking about Lara Flynn Boyle. It's just like,
no, that was...
I was like, why? I don't even own a gun. Not know enough to necessitate a gun rack.
Just because we broke up doesn't mean we can't see each other anymore. Yes, it does.
I'm still shocked there's not a Wayne's World minute going.
There wasn't there?
I think there was talk of one. I don't know if it ever got off.
Oh my gosh, that blows my mind. Yeah, I thought for sure there'd be one too.
Well, now that we're getting the return of Bill and Ted, I could very well see Mike Myers going, you know what? I'm going to tap that well one more time.
That and then Beavis and Butthead was announced, and it's like, yeah, now I guess it's the return of the metalheads now, basically.
He needs a hit, I think. But anyway, the sets in this movie are incredible. I was just thinking, like, watching this minute, it's nice to see a lot of the expense of any given film actually represented in props and sets instead of just CG and like A-list salaries or whatever. Like, I know those
costumes
days
should play it. There's a big costume budget here.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not hating on CG, but there's just something about an extravagant set or proper costume that just really works for me. Like CG can gussy it up if it's done well, like in Fury Road, but I love a good set, and this set is fantastic.
Although, quickly to talk about before we move on to the set, because I've got a lot of questions about something that's happening on the set. To talk about it, because this is the last we see of Sugar and Spice this minute.
Oh yeah.
Should note that they do get a little additional thing in the novelization.
Oh.
Where back when they were fleeing the Nygma Tech party, on the way out the door, like Spice was saying to Sugar, like, we got a motor right now, and Sugar was like, hey, I'm here legitimately. I'm no longer like a criminal mall with you. And
right.
Spice was just like, the hell, like, if you want to get stuck on all this crap, so you better come with me right now. And she said, like, don't worry, I know a guy who has a helicopter. And she picks out a mobile phone and, starts dialing. In the novelization here, the both of them run over to the same door, and Spice says, hey, don't worry about it. I know a guy who has a yacht. So I guess it's a little recurring joke that Peter David from the novelization is like, yeah, Spice is hooked up with guys, apparently.
She knows a guy, yeah.
Although I like the thing, because I think when she talked about the helicopter guy, we were like, I wonder if it's the same, like the helicopter goon who got the Joker. Like, it's that same guy who went and got them. And then now she's like, I know a guy who has a yacht. And it's like, someone shows up in the Penguins duck boat. Just like one of the Red Triangle gang. And he's like, you told me it was a yacht. It's like, well, I mean, it's as close as you're going to get to a yacht, really. But it's a duck. What's not to love here,
Yeah.
Oh, that duck boat was wrecked the last time, so it'd be probably like a load of sellotape around the head.
Oh, that'd be even better, though.
Just a bunch of bandages and tape. That'd be awesome.
I'd love that.
The thing is, though, so Sugar and Spice gone, this leaves the gaping hole of actually a thing that Chris Nolan would really enough repeat in the Dark Knight trilogy, where they know who Batman is. Like, in this week, you take care of Two-Face and the Riddler.
Yeah.
And they're kind of nullified. But Sugar and Spice are just like, they're two adult women who know fine rightly who Batman is. And they're just out in the world, just like, are they ever going to come back to try to sell this information? Again, like in The Dark Knight, like they have Coleman Reese, he knows who Batman is. He's going to announce to the world. The Joker obviously stops him with his, like, if he does that, then I'll blow up a hospital and all this sort of stuff. But in The Dark Knight Rises, they never mentioned Coleman Reese. He's just there's some guy out there.
Yeah.
You assume he went on TV why everyone wouldn't be grabbing him every second of every day of his life, going, "Who is Batman?"
Well, in the case of these two, though, who's going to believe them?
That in my mind, they're like they don't have the ear of the nation. They don't have the ear of the city, right? They're just a few people in coffee shops somewhere saying, "I know who he is." I know, like, yeah, sure you do. Everybody knows.
Have criminal connections. Surely they would know.
Oh,
people
maybe.
who would also want to kill Batman.
That's
presumably.
true. They are part of the network. That's true.
But even that, though, all you have to do is get the germ out there. You just then bring it up the newspapers to be like, "I'll tell you, Bruce Wayne is Batman." And
I was thinking about going public, but I guess if they're part of a criminal organization, they might know people that could just kidnap Bruce Wayne. You know?
Yeah. Or you just ring up Bruce Wayne and be like, "We know who you are. You're gonna pay us through the nose, or we're gonna."
That seems like a terrible idea to phone Batman, blackmail him.
Although I guess Lucius Fox did point that out in The Dark Knight. Like, you were going to go after like the most powerful man in the city.
Yeah.
And, who spends his evening beating the crap out of criminals, and you're going to get money out of him?
Somehow. Yeah, it's not a good plan. And we all know what the rich can do. He could bury them.
Yeah. I think that's the dark ending of what happened to them. They attempted to blackmail Bruce Wayne, and now they're in a not so shallow grave outside of Gotham.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen to Chase Meridian, too, just in between movies. There's the landfill outside of Gotham. It's just like, Sugar and Spice, Vicky Vale,
just
Chase Meridian.
A big headstone. People who knew,
Well, he does tell all of these ladies that he gets with, doesn't he? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing. They disappear. We don't know what happens to them. They never come back.
You set Worf up as a really powerful being, and then every alien species that invades the Enterprise, you have to show how powerful the alien species is by having them beat Worf. But you never have Worf beat any of the alien species, so it ends up looking episode after episode like Worf is really bad at his job. Right? Because he's the one that... So you have this thing where like every woman that Batman meets, that Wayne meets, he's like, "Oh, P.S. I'm Batman." He tells every love interest that he's Batman, and it's like, does he just say this to like literally every girl that he meets? But it's not supposed to be that way. The insinuation is that there's been dozens in the meantime that he hasn't told. But
I just always remember an episode where Riker was like going through some sort of psychotic breakdown or something, or he thought he was.
Most episodes.
And he got up out of his hospital bed. And he took out Worf within 2 seconds.
Oh my god, really?
I think at that point it's just like, okay, like, employee evaluation time.
Yeah. He got taken out
stressed,
by
man.
A bowl of cooked spaghetti took out Worf. Oh no!
They'd be like, well, look at Tasha Yar. It's like, well, admittedly, you're better than Tasha Yar, but come on.
She left too early. Anyway, back to the minute. There's a big old fisheye lens going on here. Explosions abound. Did you ever get any SCTV where you guys live? There was an old John Candy and Joe Flaherty were part of it, and they did this farm film report. They did, and it was just a couple of farmers from out in the middle of nowhere, and they would review movies, and the only thing they cared about was explosions. So they would just say like, "Oh yeah, he was great. He blowed up real good, real good. Oh, he blowed up real good. Oh yeah, they blowed up real good." And so this is to me a perfect minute for those two, because the Riddler's hideout right now is just blowing up real good. That's all that's happening. Is just tons of explosions.
Oh, it's going crazy. Everything's collapsing. People are running and falling. The terrordome is just dead.
Yeah, Batman has done a great job. This is like just getting back, like, you blow up my goddamn Batcave, I'm gonna blow up your whole island. And admittedly, he's doing a way better job, because the explosions in the Batcave are like, yeah, I guess they'll do. But this is like, oh shit, this place is done.
Yeah, but the Riddler's got like 1 million Tesla coils around the place, isn't he? It's like all of my bases on red alert.
Yeah. Big vacuum tube stuff too. Like it's a pretty neat.
So yeah, just before this, just to jump back, prior to this, Batman did a riddle. What has this got to do with that riddle? Anything that's happening now?
I think now there is.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been for like 25 years. I've been baffled by. He asked the riddle as if he knows that the answer is going to be, "You're as blind as a bat," because he's going to put a little thing over his eyes. Then he flings a batarang into this giant thing that he couldn't miss anyway. And it's like, well, why did he need to blind himself for that? Why does he need? This is supposed to be a sonar suit. Why does he need the sonar for that?
I thought the thing was gonna be that he was gonna take out that, and it was gonna make everything go dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he'd be able to see in the dark. But then it didn't go that way, so his joke doesn't really work.
Well, in the different drafts, it does go that way, doesn't it, Niall?
Oh,
Is that
That's
you're
what I
gonna
was
say?
thinking. That's what I was going to ask if you knew that. If there was a prior.
I think
Plan.
that is the original pitch. Is that well, the one thing they do specify in the novelization in particular, they specify that it's a specialized batarang. That's not just like he's not just throwing it into a machine and it blows up the whole machine. It's supercharged with energy.
That makes more sense.
It collides with the device and then it overloads it. So like it's it's overpowering, and that's why.
So it's your electric batarangs from Arkham.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I think too, even as they're falling down as well, that one of the scripts mentions remote control batarangs. It's like don't give them the idea to bring remote control batarangs into a situation where you're falling down a hole. For the love of God,
Absolute nightmare situation for us.
But yeah, the other thing is that then it's supposed to be I guess the lights are going to go out, and then it's after he throws the batarang, he puts the little things on his eyes, the sonar device, and then this other element now comes into play where we see it's a really cool effect from the fisheye lens where you see half the floor begins to disappear because it just doesn't exist.
Now what happened? Now, in a previous minute, I think trapdoors opened up beneath the vacuum tubes that are holding Dr. Chase, Meridian, and Robin, right? Little circle holes, iris open, right? And now in this minute, half the floor is missing. So I'm not sure. Did half the floor drop away underneath them? Or did we ever see the floor drop away?
You see in that bird's eye view of the room blowing up, the floor starts to glitch. So it's like a holographic representation of the floor.
Okay.
And then it glitches out altogether. So Batman jumps down. In the novelization, it specifies that when he puts on the sonar, he sees that there's no floor there. It doesn't glitch out. So then he knows, I can just jump through this, and then I can get to them. But again, that doesn't really answer, why did he know that in advance? Like, what? I still, again, too, it's why is there only half a floor? Like, what's the half the floor about?
Maybe there was another part of the plan before where they were just hoping that Batman might just secretly fall down a hole before this ever happened.
He's just like, you wait over there. Step.
Edward Nygma's his whole plan, his plans got bumped up, and he's like, this construction company's not done with my whole thing yet. I'll set up a holographic floor so it'll look like it's done.
Trick them into thinking. Yeah, that's clever.
Spent so long cutting out question marks down the tube. They didn't have time to finish a floor.
I've got a headcanon of why it doesn't go dark, right? I'm trying to explain it to myself. Because clearly it's written that the room has gone dark, and he's put those eyes on to see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with, we are now, as soon as he activates that vision, we are seeing through the bat's eyes.
I see.
So everyone in the room cannot see. It's dark, but we, the viewer, are with Batman, who can.
I like it.
I know that's not the case, but I'm going to pretend it is.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to do whatever you got to do to get through the movie, John.
Do you think it was just Joel Schumacher just couldn't bear not having neon lights in a scene?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not a chance. You're like, complete darkness? No, I'm not going to do that. I don't think he could ever roll with that. Forget
But the
it.
lighting is great, right? I love
beautiful.
all the color schemes going on, and when the Riddler's
fantastic.
head is going all weird and the beam.
God, yeah. I think I love that effect of the floor going. As nonsensical as it is, it's like, why does he only have half a floor?
I just noticed that when you pointed it out. It's so quick, just a little ripple of it glitching out like that.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, we get to I dare say the most dated moment of the whole movie.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about was I don't know if you talked about this before, but I just realized that the golden statues on either side of the Riddler are mirrored gold versions of Auguste Rodin's statue, The Thinker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you talk about that before already?
Yeah, we mentioned it when they showed up. Yeah, we didn't go in any depth. If you have a lot of knowledge about The Thinker, by all means.
Okay, well, I mean, Rodin's French sculptor from 1889, not Rodin, the pterodactyl kaiju monster from
I was thinking that, I'll
1956.
be honest.
But one thing I realized that Rodin, the pterodactyl kaiju monster, debuted in his own film in 1956 before going on to fight Godzilla. He didn't start as a Godzilla villain. But I think it's really cool to have these like tacky gold statues on either side of a throne that depicts, it's kind of like Riddler's nouveau riche attitude towards intelligence.
Yeah.
Like old money sews elbow patches onto their cardigans if they get holes, while new money immediately buys a golden fountain for the front hall as a first priority, and it's the same with Riddler's new brains. Like, of course, he'd pick a statue as profound as this thinker and then paint it gold, double it, flip it, and make it into a throne. Like, he's spoiled by new intelligence into doing really tacky stuff. Like, I think if he'd been smart for a super long time, he would just live in a cabin in a suburb somewhere and quietly make millions. But because he's getting the fire hose right now, he's like, haha, I'm going to do this just to show off.
Because
so
that's what rich and smart people do, right?
Yeah, exactly, right?
If I ever did come into money, my main priority is to get like a solid gold top hat and just be like, just really extravagant.
Break your neck with the weight of a hat.
Yeah. Just like really, just ridiculously stupid, like flaunting of the wealth. Because like, what else are you gonna do? It's like, yeah, I made it. I finally did it. Now I just live in a tailcoat.
Oh, what was the one? I was watching, catching up on Parks and Rec. I'm finally watching Parks and Rec, and there's a friend of one of the characters, and he's got a Lamborghini filled with Rolexes. And you're like, how does he drive it? He doesn't drive it. It's a Lamborghini filled with Rolexes.
You just have it, right?
You just have it.
We've all got one.
That was always what I wanted with C6 Steve. Remember there was like the country artist C6. His whole appeal was that he was like down and out bayou dwelling, like hillbilly type guy with like no teeth and just wore dungarees. And he like played a guitar made out of string and stuff like that. I really wanted like his second album after the success of the first would just be him with like a solid diamond guitar and just going like, I've made it, baby.
Suckers.
He does live in Norway now, C6 Steve, so he might be living like that. It's quite expensive in Norway, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I just want to see, like, C60 feet, Kanye West. Fur coats, just like really living it up.
No, to really be an artist, feat someone else, it's got to be Pitbull.
Oh, of course. Pitbull.
Yeah, that's right. You got to feat Pitbull.
Everyone on the planet will have done a collaboration with Pitbull before the end of this century.
Yeah. He's booked for next season already, actually, Pitbull. Yeah, we got him in.
Oh my god, let's get him so we can put, instead of like that minute episode blah 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 we can change with to feet.
Oh yeah. We should have been doing that from day one, John, quite frankly. Pitbull or no.
But here you were talking about the effects in this minute when Riddler's just drinking from the knowledge fire hose here. So he's getting what's happening here now? Is he getting knowledge pumped into his brain at too rapid a pace, or is it being sucked out of his mind? Like how is it malfunctioning?
That's the $64,000 question.
Yeah,
I always assumed he was being extracted.
Oh, okay. See, I always thought it was pumping too much in too fast.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Too much, too fast. That was always what I got. That he was just getting like all of the minds in there too quickly. So that's what's making him bonkers. But it could go the other way, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking it was more because the whole system's messing up. It's just warping his whole head in that, like, it's sucking things in, it's pumping things in and sucking it out at the same time. And his whole
chaos.
head's getting, it's because at the end of this, he is completely insane. Yeah. So it's just like, it's good. Although I am kind of slightly bugged in that, like, because he's not got anything hooked up to him. Like, this would make sense if they came in and he was wearing like a big extravagant helmet.
Sure.
He was always getting the intelligence pumped into him, and then it's like, the system's pulled up, he can't get the helmet off in time, and it messes with his whole. But it seems like, if he just wasn't sitting in this chair, could he just like jump off down to the floor and it'd be okay? Or
could anybody just sit in the chair? Right?
That's the thing, yeah. Because we had a whole running theory going throughout about, like, the reason there was all swirling lights and stuff was because that was also box waves getting pumped in.
Yeah.
So you're getting like a little buzz from that, and then when you're in the throne and you'll push a button or something, then it turns on the main feed.
Is it maybe like he's hooked up to his brainwaves or something now?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe it's like a Wi-Fi thing. Yeah, Wi-Fi into his own head, and the whole router is getting messed up. So
like a recursive chaos kind of a thing.
yeah.
Could be
But
it.
I'm surprised it did, because I know that I guess they just wanted to do the hair and stuff. And
Yeah.
the mask, but like you could have had like at the end of like the Masters of the Universe movie when Skeletor becomes a god. He's got this big friggin' stupid gold helmet that's amazing. We could have had him wear
That's
something
right.
like that. That's like this is my new box helmet or whatever.
Like a like a big Hellraiser transformation or something.
Yeah. And then when he takes off the helmet, then his head's completely messed up and stuff, and it'd be like a real big reveal and stuff.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to put a special effect like this in, because this is just, I think even like sitting in the theater in '95, this looked dated like at the time.
Well, that's one of my notes here is like, do you remember being impressed by this at the time? Because I saw it in the theaters, and I remember thinking even back then I was like, this is a little cheap.
Yeah. Considering too, it's like climactic moments. Like this is a thing.
This is the big, like, what was it? 1999's Mystery Men. Remember Mystery Men?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Greg Kinnear's Captain Amazing gets warped to death in the chair. Right? He's in some climactic supervillain death trap, and he's trying to get the C list heroes to like set him free.
Yeah.
And they mess it up, and the death ray hits Captain Amazing, and he warps and dies. He gets entirely distended and deformed and absolutely destroyed in a surprisingly grotesque and gory manner for what's supposed to be sort of a light comedy film. And I remember that scene really shocked me, and I think that's what they were going for here, but this looks like sort of a basic After Effects filter version of that scene from Mystery Men.
Yeah. So why would you do this when you've got the man with the most flexible face in the world there?
Yeah.
Why are you using terrible effects to warp his face? Just to ask him
great
to do
point.
that.
He could probably just do it anyway.
That was the one day where Jim was like, you know what? I'm going to show some restraint.
That's a really good point. They could have just pointed the camera at him and said, "Hey, you've got 45 seconds to just wild out."
Yeah.
And he would have given him,
Do something
tons
weird.
of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's like when they covered up Willem Dafoe's face with a mask, in Spider-Man when he was playing Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've got that face. You just got to paint it green, and you put a mask on him? Like, so, yeah. Why didn't they just do that? Yeah, tell Jim Carrey. I mean, that's his deal.
I think I know the actual answer, sadly. It's just because, we've got this cool new CGI.
Yeah.
We need to show off these new effects. Because this movie's been very restrained with its use of CGI.
Yeah.
Every bit of it so far it's been a little bit dated, but it's been fine. It's been good, and it's felt like it needed to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas this, does it need to be?
There's a million ways around. Like, all you needed to do, it probably would have been more effective, is just like have like a shot of Batman standing down on the ground, and he just hears Edward Nygma screaming his head off as if something horrible is happening to him via the box. And then the audience's imagination will be like, what the hell is going on up there? And then when you do see him later on, and he is all weirdly deformed and stuff, it'll be like, yeah, I guess it messed up his whole friggin' head. While we're on the subject of the Riddler's face getting warped out of all recognition, one thing we haven't really talked about in the run, because we just had other things to talk about, is that now we've got precious few minutes of the Riddler actually left. Other actors who could have played the Riddler, because we touched on Robin Williams several times, because he had his infamous dealings with Warner Brothers for this. But a few other people who were up for the role were Matthew Broderick.
Oh.
Wow, that would have
Not
been
sure
neat.
about that.
Okay, I can see that. Less manic, but there'd be okay. I can see that angle.
I could picture it. And it's funny, though, hearing that, of course, because of the cable guy.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Yeah, of course, that's the cable guy.
That's right.
I find Matthew Broderick a very bland presence.
Yeah, that's kind of his shtick, is that he's a bland presence.
Well, it
Right,
wasn't
like
in Ferris Bueller,
well, like-
though. He was like the least bland person in that.
Like Jason, like Jason Bateman is a bland character. Like there's a he always, the straight man, I guess, is a better way of putting it. Like he's the guy that reacts to the other person who's acting crazy. That's kind of his bread and butter. So I could see him being just like a really sociopathic Riddler, but with that Ferris Bueller kind of delivery. Like that would be very interesting. A whole different film. But
well, talking about like people reacting to the crazy guy in the room, Steve Martin apparently also considered for the Riddler.
Nice.
Let's get to the time. My main problem is that with him and Broderick, it's like Carey does lend a genuine sinister vibe at times.
Yeah,
but I can't see Steve Martin or
I think Matthew Broderick
pulling off.
could maybe. I'm coming around on Matthew Broderick a bit here because I think he could be like sort of quietly intelligent and sinister.
Yeah,
but directed by Joel Schumacher, I don't think so.
I think he would do better if it was done genuinely scary and kind of creepy.
Yeah, like you wouldn't take him seriously for half the film until he does something genuinely horrific. Yeah, and then you're like, whoa, oh my gosh, that would be kind of
worked into the script. Like him killing Ed Begley Jr. would be that moment, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sure.
Although then now a man who lobbied hard to Warner Brothers for the role of the Riddler and was outright turned down. Michael Jackson wanted to play the Riddler in this.
You're joking. Come on, really?
Oh. Yeah, seriously. Michael Jackson actively wanted that part.
He was trying to get in everything. He wanted to be in the Phantom Menace, didn't he? He wanted to be Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. That's correct, yeah, because I think he wanted his fingers in Batman somehow, because remember way back in season 1 we talked about...
Wording, phrasing.
Oh, God.
But remember, the original plan for the soundtrack was going to be Prince and Michael Jackson working in tandem, and Jackson would do the Bruce Wayne side of the soundtrack, and Prince would do the Joker side, and then it became Prince's show, and that guy doesn't share the spotlight with anything.
No, he doesn't share. Well, it's like his Prince was up for the role in The Fifth Element of Super Green, that guy. That guy. He was. It was supposed to be Prince, but he didn't like the costumes that Jean-Paul Gaultier was designing, and so he just said,
who the hell
whatever.
doesn't like a Gaultier costume?
Are you right? I'm like, come on, dude, come on. And then so he stepped off, and that's how we got the other guy. But so
the thing is, I did a quick look into like 95 Michael Jackson. Like, what was he looking like then? And he's well into his transformation into
well into it. Yeah.
So in that way, I don't think he would be a good Riddler. But early days Edward Nygma, where he's a kind of creepy weirdo, 100% I can imagine Michael Jackson doing that.
You can imagine Michael Jackson as a creepy weirdo.
But I can imagine him doing it. You're supposed to understand. I'll make you understand.
But imagine him playing Edward Nygma like prior to going fully insane.
Well, and that though, I think it would lend a creepiness in the fact that like you would meet him and it's like, is this guy already tried to surgically make himself look like Bruce Wayne? Is he already that deranged? Like,
yeah, there's an angle there for sure. I want to sidestep to that universe where this other movie got made. There's so many alternate universe films out there. I want to see the other casting, how it turned out. I just want to see how it turned out. Go there and see how it turned out.
The thing is, though, then once he's in destroying the Batcave, they'd have to be like, all right, he's moonwalking, and he's throwing the Michael Jackson moves around as he's throwing the bombs and all that, because then you can't show restraint. It's like, well, we got him here. Yeah. You don't get Michael Jackson in to not do Michael Jackson stuff.
I don't think the word restraint was used making this movie at any point anyway.
No, well, that's one thing. A rule you couldn't say that.
Okay. The thing is, though, because I went down this well there. Like as you referenced, John, Michael Jackson did also try to get a role in the Phantom Menace. The thing is, he's lobbied hard for a lot of roles, and he's been turned down for all of them.
Specifically, Jar Jar in you said specifically Jar Jar in the Phantom Menace, right?
Yeah. Jar Jar. Apparently, Ahmed Best, he said in an interview that he was brought backstage to like one of Michael Jackson's concerts, and George Lucas introduced him. And he was like, here's Natalie Portman, here's Jar Jar. And Ahmed Best was like, what the f*** is he introducing me as Jar Jar for? And then afterwards, George was like, I'm sorry about that. he thinks he's going to get to play Jar Jar. So I was just saying that to emphasize that you already have the part and stuff.
That would have been amazing. That would have been absolutely amazing.
Apparently he wanted to do it all with prosthetics too. Like I think maybe that might have been where him and George separated. It was like George is like, no, it's an entirely CGI character. I'm leading the way in this new technology.
Yeah. I wish it would have went the other way. Can you even imagine? Oh, that would have been incredible.
Fascinating to see.
Yeah.
But the other people he's lobbied to play, apparently he went to Bryan Singer and asked to play Professor X in the first X-Men.
Oh my
This is
God.
amazing. This is incredible.
No, I don't even know why you'd want that part either. It's just like,
Oh no, that's gold. That's priceless.
That's gold.
I'd love it. Would he be in the chair and everything?
oh yeah, imagine you have to have the friggin' bald head and stuff because it's Professor X. You can't not have it.
Incredible.
That is wild. I don't know that one.
Apparently, he met with Stan Lee about purchasing the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I knew that one.
That's right.
Because he wanted to play Spider-Man, and he thought Stan Lee in the 90s had the rights. But of course, at that point, Marvel as a comics company was in dire straits. They had already sold off the rights to Sony or whatever. And Stan Lee was like, well, I'm sure you'd be a great Spider-Man, but I just don't have it, kid.
Imagine him as Spider-Man. Jesus Christ.
I want to see the universe where he got all of the parts that he asked for. You know?
In the suit as Spider-Man, like just movement-wise, I can see it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But
He's an athletic guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a dancer, fantastic dancer. He'd have the movement down, sure.
He's also all these things do is make because the fact that he met with Bryan Singer, who's already a very problematic person,
Yeah.
and Michael Jackson himself is also very controversial. Apparently, he's also friends with Brett Ratner, who's also a bit of a scumbag.
Super
And he
scumbag,
met with him. He actively wanted to play the Tooth Fairy in Red Dragon when Brett Ratner was making that.
Holy crap.
I want to see that
That's a bit
too.
dark.
I want to see that now.
That's one I would actually be like, all right, yeah, go ahead. Cast Michael Jackson as
No,
that guy.
that seems alright. Yeah, that doesn't seem like you'd want to do that one.
That slideshow, you know, this is man transforming into something other than man. Do you see? Do you see? I just want to see that.
Problems I have,
now.
right? Yeah. As me and Rory were saying then, he wouldn't want to do that, right? Really. If he
Not
actually
really.
read the script, he'd be like, oh, that's horrible. He was like a child. And also, isn't the whole point, like, I know he's like a bit of an awkward weirdo or whatever, but
Yeah.
on the outside, it's like, oh, well, he's just a nice kind of shy guy. People don't suspect him of being a psychotic killer.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson's pretty weird.
The
Yeah.
thing is, I remember in the book, is like he had a cleft palate that he got fixed, and he always assumed everyone was just staring at the little scar on his lip the whole time. But with
Oh.
Michael Jackson, people would just be staring at the fact that,
Yeah.
his face was completely messed up all the time.
Aw.
Apparently, in the early '80s, he met with Steven Spielberg to do an adaptation of Peter Pan. And it kind of, talks stalled and whatnot, and Spielberg made Temple of Doom. And then when he got around to making Hook, he came back to Michael Jackson, and he said, like, this is the new pitch. And it's like an adult Peter, and he doesn't remember that he's Peter Pan, and he's got these kids and stuff. And Michael Jackson was just like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. Hard pass.
I'm interested in playing Peter Pan, not some, like, accountant or whatever who has to remember that he's Peter Pan. So that was thrown out. Apparently, he loved Men in Black so much. Because, of course, he is in Men in Black 2 in a little tiny cameo.
Yeah.
But he went to Barry Sonnenfeld, and he said that the ending made him bawl crying. That he was absolutely just, loved the movie so much. And Barry Sonnenfeld was like, it's a comedy, right? It's supposed to be crying at the end. And he said he wanted to play Will Smith's part. He wanted to be in the sequel, get rid of Will Smith, and cast Michael Jackson instead.
Incredible.
And
Incredible.
At that point, of course, that's powerhouse. That's Will Smith at the height of his powers. So the company were like, no fucking way.
Not a chance.
Because there's so many of them. One big one I actually would have loved to have seen. Apparently in '93, fresh off Batman Returns, one of Tim Burton's big pitches to Warner Brothers was to do a musical remake of House of Wax starring Michael Jackson. And to me, that sounds great. I was like, oh, well, why didn't do that?
With Michael Jackson as the bad guy?
Yeah. I guess he'd be Vincent Price or whatever.
Was that? Yeah, that was Vincent Price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's Burton's just mentioned this in interviews, and he's just like, yeah, Warner Brothers just rejected that outright. I was like, oh, why? Why would they do that? That seems like has been a pretty interesting project.
Well, I don't think he's ever played a villain, has he? Has Michael Jackson ever played a villain in a movie?
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him play anyone but Michael Jackson.
Yeah, because he'd be good, but I don't think. Well, he was the Scarecrow in The Wiz or whatever, and yeah, but I haven't seen him.
Oh, you think if they did a sequel to Batman and Robin with the Scarecrow when they brought back Michael Jackson?
Oh, that would be incredible.
Because of course, who wrote The Wiz was Joel Schumacher. So maybe there was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, Joel Schumacher wrote The Wiz. It's one of those bizarre things in his early career.
Wow.
And the big one, I think it's just big because it's just like, holy crap, like apparently he really wanted this, was that, again with Tim Burton, when he was developing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Michael Jackson lobbied so hard for the role that he went and wrote and created a soundtrack album to go with the movie. And he came to, I guess, that's not Warner Brothers, it might be 20th Century Fox, whoever owns the rights to it anyway, and said, I've got this album, I want that part. If you want the album, you gotta let me play Willy Wonka.
Wow.
And they were like, we love the album, we'll have you in the movie as a cameo, we'll pay you for the album, we'll give you whatever money you want for it, we'll pay for it, because we think this is great, this will be a great tie-in soundtrack, but you can't play Willy Wonka. And he was so furious, he was just like, no. Either I play that part, or it just doesn't happen. And apparently that soundtrack sitting in a vault somewhere.
It's hilarious that Johnny Depp then just played it as Michael Jackson.
That must have been like the slap with the glove then, to see like, holy, he's just playing me. What the fuck?
I remember before that came out, all the rumors were like, it's going to be Marilyn Manson playing Willy Wonka.
That would be great. Well, maybe not for a whole movie, but
yeah.
But yeah, those are several of the roles that Michael Jackson apparently lobbied hard for.
Amazing.
And was outright turned down. And yeah, the Riddler is one that's just like, I do wonder as well, because Joel Schumacher presumably knows Michael Jackson from The Wiz and stuff.
Yeah.
You do have to wonder, like, behind the scenes and stuff, because I guess 94 would have been around the time where, like, accusations are starting to land in about Jackson.
Yeah.
And he said, apparently it was just outright ignored by the studios. I'm wondering if they're just like, we're not touching the guy.
Not a
or
chance.
If Joel Schumacher himself's like, I know the guy, I don't want any affiliation with that. Or you don't know. Because, again, this is all conjecture with Mike. Well, it's not conjecture, it's outright accusations and stuff against the guy.
Yeah.
So it is just like, it could have been... Obviously, I think they made the right choice. I even think Jim Carrey has done a better job than Robin Williams would have done.
Well, here, like in this moment, he says, "Bummer" with his this is his final moment, I guess. And as much as I love his character,
I was trying to work that out.
Yeah, he's like bummer, which as like surfer dude California bummer, which as much as I loved his characterization of the Riddler, especially as Edward Nygma, it was this line along with joygasm that really sort of threw me. Like, to me, he's supposed to be the opposite of basic. You know, like he'd only ever say bummer to mock somebody that he saw as stupid, and he'd only refer to sex with like long 5-syllable words. You know, like, to me anyway. Like Carrey went full manic with his characterization, which is what you get when you pay for Carrey. But his Nygma character was lovely because it kind of echoed his more downplayed future character roles in like The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. But I liked his Nygma. I liked his Nygma a lot because he was restrained and he was like, don't you want to like me? You know, like, and then, but then he got, you know, he was almost like Carrey times 5 as the Riddler. Like, he really opened up the throttle as Riddler, and it was very entertaining. But I was kind of like, well, is that the Riddler though? Like, to me, the Riddler's just like a cackling intellectual. He's not off the rails manic. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, that's a problem we have throughout the movie, really, because even Two-Face isn't Two-Face.
I think they're both kind of
playing
Jokerish.
I got a whole essay on Two-Face. Like, the way that he was portrayed in this film, I got lots to say on that. But that's he's got his sort of spotlight moments in the later minutes. But he's
we'll get to that.
I do wonder though if Peter David, the guy who wrote the novelization, shares your feelings, Duncan, because he includes the bummer line, but he does say that because, you know, the box is warping Edward Nygma's head, it
Right.
specifies that he's desperately trying to think of something intelligent to say, and because his heads are getting so messed up, all he can think to say is bummer. So it's acknowledging the fact that like this is a terrible line.
Does he explain joygasm though?
I don't think joygasm was brought into the novelization at all. Actually, so,
Alas, how could you
think-
leave
Alas.
that out?
I think that was swiftly sidestepped and just like
Oh.
just not mention that.
Just while we're still on him as well, this is the worst Riddler costume of the full movie, I think, in my opinion. I don't like
the
this
white
one.
sparkly
Oh,
jumpsuit.
I love this
you know?
costume.
This is my I like the mask, but I don't.
I
Yeah.
like that it represents him thinking he's so smart and thinking he's
Well, I
so successful
think
and he's got it in the
His
bag.
previous costume just before this does a better job of that. It's the light up evening
Oh, I
jacket.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he only wears that for like a minute and then it's to this. I think he should have kept that on for this bit.
Oh, that would have been quite cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, like this hair, that mask, and that outfit, like that would have been a good combo actually. But-
Because this kind of pairs with the statues for me in terms of he's gone too far. This is
Yeah, I
him
suppose.
thinking, okay, I'm literally the smartest person on the planet, and I'm going to flaunt it, but he's doing it in kind of a gauche, dumb way. Like this is this suit is kind of, it's covered in rhinestones or whatever. It's like I get like it's bad, but I guess maybe it was like bad on purpose. But I'm with you. I like this costume, but only on that level kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like in Goodfellas when like you're after like Henry Hill's finally reached the top and him and Karen have having windfalls and he comes home with like a solid white plastic Christmas tree. He's like,
Yeah.
it's the most expensive tree I could get and stuff. It looks awful.
Awful.
But it's like,
Yeah.
it's the most expensive one. It's great.
Yeah.
It must be good.
Yeah, it costs a ton. Then therefore it's good.
But he does press that button on his cane, which is like
Yep.
multi-purpose. And the
Yep.
hostages fall out of their tubes, complete with a slow-mo upskirt shot.
Yeah. Nicole Kidman's stunt double we get some stunt butt here.
That's what I mean, like I was hoping to be able to come out with like, the amount of like teenage boys who had sexual awakenings to this upskirt shot of Chase Meridian and find out I was like, this was a stunt double David Leah. He was a 38-year-old man.
Hey, whatever does it,
Yeah, a lot of guys might be like, well, it
That's
did
it.
the job. So.
Guess I'm
And,
into stunt people. No judgment.
That's the fetish, stunt people specifically.
That's a fetish.
Oh yeah, I like the danger. But as they fall, Batman, he dives to save them, if possible. And, he goes straight for Chase. Which I took a second to think
closest,
about.
to be fair.
Yeah.
I
No.
guess.
I like,
I've
Well,
got-
yeah, but...
Go past her, get Robin, and then come back up together.
Well, no, but he's got multiple gadgets. He could fire something down to Robin, but Robin's closer to death.
Yeah.
But I applaud him for deliberately thinking of Chase first, because I'm going to be very boring and serious, because in my eyes, she's a civilian at the end of the day.
Okay.
Robin chose this fight. She didn't.
yeah.
Right.
So she doesn't deserve anything that happens. Robin's took on the danger.
I like that. That's a good take.
Although I have the question though of like, you referred to that button as multi-purpose, John. And I'm just thinking of because last week when Batman rightfully called out the Riddler of like, there's no way to save them or myself. This is all a giant death trap. The fact that the first push of that button, he doesn't do anything. It was always going to drop Robin first and then Chase.
Yeah.
Should we take away the fact that Riddler was obviously never going to let either of them go?
Of course he
And
wasn't.
he was always planning to first push is Robin. I've got it rigged that way. So even if Batman went, I choose Dick. He's like, well, too bad. Or if he's like, I choose Chase. He's like, well, there you go. I'm killing your partner. But he was always planning for the buttons to be rigged in that fashion.
Yeah, I think he was going to kill both of them. Yeah.
That's why Meridian is closer because Robin was dropped first.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I guess too is he's just heavier. Like he's just
We do see his cage does open first, because you see them one after the other. Well,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's
There you
also
go.
like he's a big hunk of man.
Yeah,
And a
denser.
lot of heavy rubber. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, I did like, I don't know if you wanna, if I did some math for this part of the minute. Like I know in film that they stretch moments out like this for the sake of suspense, but I did a little math here. Batman falls for 20 seconds in this minute and 10 seconds in the next one. So falling for 30 seconds at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared with no resistance means that they're falling for 14,478 feet at a top speed of 658 miles per hour. So
Great.
Batman saves Dr. Chase Meridian after 14 seconds of free fall, which means she's traveled 3,153 feet at a top speed of 307 miles per hour. Now, the longest bungee jump was 4,632 meters, set by Curtis Rivers in Spain in 2001, but he did it from a hot air balloon. So while Chase is a few meters short of the record, Batman does seem to slow her descent with a steel cable. Now, that level of momentum versus that speed of stopping versus the tensile strength of Dr. Chase Meridian's body, I mean, I think a lot of Dr. Chase Meridian would keep right on going down to the bottom of this pit.
Well, he ties it around the
I
rope,
don't think...
so the rope would snap, surely. It's a bit of rope.
I think it'd be a contest between her and the rope. Is it a
Yeah.
rope? Because it looked like a steel cable to me. So I think in her body.
I think
would
his
be
is a
close.
steel cable, but what she's tied up with is a rope. I think.
Yeah, it's good. They could have done the old Gwen Stacy routine. Just like that's
Yeah.
what Gwen Stacy does. It's like this the tensile strength of the just falling too far too fast, and then her
Have
neck
her
snapping,
just
so-
Darth Maul down the rest of the
Oh God,
the
yes.
silo there.
Oh, it'd be great if there's just like Dick going like, oh thanks, and you see like half Chase Meridian splatter.
Oh,
And then she
geez.
can get robotic spider legs.
There you go.
Oh, that's how you make her into a supervillain for the next movie. She
There you
comes
go.
back for revenge.
And then it could be like the first Wives Club, right? Like they're all mutilated ex-girlfriends of
Oh, we've done it. We've written
and
a
they
sequel.
come together in a
So
villain.
somehow Alicia's back as well. She's like, I didn't go out Bruce Wayne, but I went out with a guy I knew him, I guess. So
Oh, this would be perfect. We
So
need to do
this like the world's highest skydive was 135,000 feet, so they're still quite shy of breaking that record. But the former World Trade Centers were 1,368 feet high, so the three of them fall during these 30 seconds the length of 10 and a half World Trade Centers.
holy crap.
Or 40.2 football fields for all the North Americans out there. When all is said and done, like I know things get stretched out for cinematic moments. Anytime anybody falls in a movie off a bridge or what have you, there's like an absurd length of time realistically than would have taken place. But Riddler's tower would have been almost in space, I think, if this was going to be
And they
taken
climbed up there, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They climbed up there. That's right.
I'd love it if the oxygen started getting thin.
Just like Batman and Robin getting back to the Batcave, and Alfred been like, "You've been gone for like 5 days. What? Jesus Christ!"
It's like climbing Everest or something. Yeah.
Oh, they need a Sherpa to take them up.
Well, I will. In these shots, looking down at Robin falling from Batman's POV, it's really hard to see exactly what's going on with him. Like now, is he falling in a seated V position with his butt pointed up towards the sky, kind of thing? Like I can't. There's just a few shots of him falling where I'm like, what is his body actually doing here?
I mean, I guess if he was, it might be that he's trying to get the ropes from behind his back through under his feet.
Because he does
That's
that
right.
Kind of arching
right
that
at the
way.
end of the clip.
That's right. So yeah, he's kind of curled up trying to get the rope around his ankles thing. Okay,
He's
I
using
see,
his
yeah.
acrobatic training here.
Yeah,
There it is.
he
Yeah,
knows what he's doing.
his circus moves. Okay.
I think the cape sort of distorts where his body is a bit as well. Looking
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see what he's doing.
Because I remember again last week as well that as Riddler did say like 5 seconds later, both of these day players will be goals feet on the rocks below. You haven't done all the math there, Duncan. I kind of want Batman to come up to Edward Nygma at the end and be like, by the way, it wasn't 5 seconds. It was exactly this amount of time. You didn't work that out, did you, smarty pants?
Yeah. You
Kicking
think
him in
you
the head while he's down.
It's basic physics. Yeah.
He's just like, I already knew that before I even... He's pulling the full-on Black Dynamite. I'm like, I threw that before I even walked in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I knew how far they're going to fall before you even dropped them. But yeah, we do get a little bit of Robin kind of breaking the ropes underneath him there, and that's the end of this minute. Does anyone have anything for this minute that they want to bring up before we move on? Or
All tapped
Oh,
out on this
good.
one.
No, tapped out. That's the end of mine.
So, Niall, we need our very, very special moment before we head off.
yeah, it's actually now that you've said all that stuff too, Duncan. Like I wonder maybe this would be the riddle for you because this season in the spirit of Batman Forever, we pose a riddle to the guests. And so this week's is Riddle Me This. A sharpshooter hung his hat and put on a blindfold. He then walked 100 yards, turned around, and shot a bullet through his hat. The blindfold was perfectly good. It completely blocked his vision. So how did he manage to do that?
Oh, was the hat on the end of the gun?
God damn it! Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry, did I get it? Oh, okay, great. Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, I hate riddles so much. I need
right
more
on.
booze to get them or something.
Yeah, when you don't get them and it's like 10 minutes goes by and everybody's confused and you're like, okay, I get it. Just tell me the answer. Jeez.
Would our guests like to tell people where they can be found online? Rory, why don't you go first?
Sure. I do a podcast called Dog Care Presents where me and a guest, we teach each other about a new topic every week. Various topics, history, folklore, pop culture, just about everything. You can find that at dogcarenetwork.com and you can follow me on Twitter at Rory Spence.
Cool. Make sure you do that, everyone. And Duncan?
I'm the host of Chronologically Speaking. It's the movie-by-minute deep dive on 1982's Tron, starring Bruce Boxleitner, Cindy Morgan, and Jeff Bridges. You can go to chronologicallyspeaking.com. You can go over to Facebook to the Chronologically Speaking minute-by-minute listeners page, or you can go to Twitter for Chronologically Speaking and just look for me there.
Hey, and make sure you do that. And speak to us on Facebook at the Bat-Minute Listeners Cave, on Twitter at Bat-Minute. Come to our website if you want. I don't know, do whatever you like. But most importantly, Patreon. For just a couple of dollars, you can get lots of wonderful extra bonus content. And there's going to be even more of that coming soon. So it's a good time to jump on, listen to the back catalogue, and wait for the new stuff. And speaking of waiting, you're going to have to wait. I apologise. But we will be back on Wednesday with more Bat-Minute Forever.
Next time, Holy Gauntlet Grasp. Still in descent from a psycho's summit, a captured couplet continue their plummet. But while a knight in shining sable catches a psychiatrist with a quick cable, can he make another critical save and spare his surly sidekick from a watery grave? Find out Wednesday. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.
Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.